I don't think the culprit could have used a light while under the floor.
No, you're right.
There was a hole in the corner of the room.
You told Himiko not to fall into it.
If a light were used, it would have leaked through and we would have seen it.
Mm-hmm.
But when we did the seance, the room was definitely pitch black.
I was about to suggest that maybe Tenko committed suicide, but she wouldn't have been able to get the weapon away.
So a light was not shined under the floor, which means you cannot claim I am the culprit.
It must have been Kaito then. But why? Why would Kaito kill Tenko?
Jeez, here I thought this would be the case where the murder could only be done by a robot.
You have accused me of being the culprit more than once now, simply because I am a robot.
You're not wrong.
My status as a robot does not mean I am capable of performing superhuman feats.
That's not necessarily true.
My vision is somewhat poor, and I only possess average physical strength and intelligence.
I thought you had above average.
All right, you made your point.
Did you help move heavy
God,
shit
I feel
before?
sort of bad for you.
I neither want nor need your pity.
Enough with the flashlight! It's way too bright!
It would have been difficult to move around under the floor in that pitch black darkness.
Unless you would have had your eyes adjust to it.
Maybe the floor and the hole have nothing to do with this case.
Then why was floorboard under Tenko lined up funny? Going to think that was so culprit could stab Tenko from under floor.
Likely.
Ooh, nice observation, Gonta. Are you finally getting used to the class
I mean, yeah, that's
trials?
actually... Hello, Spoon. That's actually a surprising observation from Gunta.
Uh-huh. Thank you.
Good job, Gunta.
Don't say it like that. You're better off not being used to this kind of stuff.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, we kind of have to.
Maybe they marked Tenko with glowing paint and looked for that.
A la Danganronpa 2 style.
That'd let the culprit find her. Then they could stab her through the floorboards.
She would have... No, because she wasn't able to speak. Even if she would have noticed, she wouldn't have said anything.
Boy, that sounds really familiar too.
Oh,
But
ignore
I'm just
it.
gonna ignore it.
That's fair.
Her corpse didn't have any trace of glowing paint, though.
True, true.
Oh, yeah. So then why was that floorboard loose?
The loose floorboard was the one under Tenko, right?
Yep, directly under her.
If the culprit used it while she was still alive, she'd totally notice.
Who fucking cares? Fussing over that won't get us closer to the culprit.
We shouldn't dismiss this line of inquiry, however. Instead of butting our heads against this, how about we concentrate on another issue?
What other issue?
Perhaps first, we should figure out how and when exactly Tenko was killed.
When? So not during seance?
No, it was during the seance.
Tenko was in the metal cage for the whole seance, wasn't she?
Yep.
How could someone have gotten to her there?
Maybe the culprit killed her before she went under the metal cage.
That's impossible, Kibo.
That's not possible. She was alive at that point.
Yeah, she was alive up until we put the lights out, basically. Everything was already on top of her.
Yes, she was unmistakably alive when the seance began.
Mm-hmm.
That was right before we blew out the candles. But when the light came back...
The floorboard was removed at that point, so it's likely she was already dead then.
So she was killed when the room was dark?
But she was inside cage, right? Going to think it impossible to kill her then.
Then she wasn't killed when the room was dark. It was a different time.
That's impossible, Miyu.
A different time?
How the fuck should I know? You figure it out, shitheads.
Huh?
Since Gonta said it was impossible, I'm proposing an alternate theory.
Wait, Miyu, could it have been you? Did anyone have night vision goggles? Miyu could have been getting revenge because she could have thought that Tenko killed Anji. No wait, was Miyu a part of... I don't remember if Miyu was a part of the student council. I don't think she was.
Now hurry up and think! If you want to make my golden brain tingle, start circle jerking your limp dick brains!
Night vision goggles clearly could be the answer. But I don't know if anyone has night vision goggles.
When Tenko got killed, it wasn't during the seance.
It could not have been done at any other time. She was under the cage the whole time. And she was dead when the cage was lifted.
What about moment cage was lifted?
Ooh, like that.
Okay,
When
yeah.
cage lifted, culprit stabbed Tenko real fast. So fast, no one saw.
Oh my!
So who lifted the cage?
Himiko.
It was me.
Then obviously Himiko is the culprit.
No!
There's no doubt!
Stop it! Tenko not being killed during the seance? That might not be impossible, but there's no evidence for it.
When Tenko got killed, it wasn't during the seance.
Yeah.
It
Could not have been done at
We have proof of
was the
this.
cage the whole time. And she was dead.
What about moment cage was lifted?
No, that's wrong. If blood wasn't on the sheet, then maybe.
No, it wasn't possible to kill her the moment the cage was lifted. Because the inside of the white cloth had Tenko's blood on it. That cloth was removed before the cage was lifted. If Tenko was stabbed then, there wouldn't be blood on the cloth.
Exactly.
What? But how could my golden brain be wrong when it felt so right?
I mean, you're not the smartest person in the room when it comes to murder, Mia.
The only possibility is that Tenko was killed during the seance.
I got your remodel right here! No, it's still wrong to think that Tenko was killed during the seance.
What?
Why do you say that?
I'm gonna prove it right now. My golden brain is gonna go all out!
Now for the thing that I'm the worst at.
Tenko.
Tenko's last moments. Died in a crouch position, injuries back of neck. Not enough to kill her immediately.
Died after the seance. It happened when the sheet was lifted. That was the moment the culprit chose to stab the fuck out of Tenko through the cage. They stuck the thin blade through the gaps of, and that clean white sheet got stained blood red.
But the weapon was a sickle. Only the blade could have fit through the gaps.
The blade's all you need. If you stick the blade through a gap in the cage, it'd be long enough to reach Tenko.
Not
Sitting
necessarily.
there with her neck all exposed. She wasn't that far from the cage's gaps. In which case, the person who lifted the sheet is the culprit, and that's none other than Kyo!
There has to be a hole in Miyu's logic somewhere. All I have to do is show her evidence that will counter Miyu's
The
claims.
blade's all you need! If you stick the blade through a gap in the cage, it'd be long enough to reach Tenko. Sitting in there with her neck all exposed.
No.
The blade's all you need. If you stick the blade through a gap in the cage, It'd be long enough to reach Tenko. Sitting in there with her neck all exposed.
Whoops. No, not that one either.
The blade's all you need. If you stick the blade through a gap in the cage,
Like I said,
long enough to reach Tenko.
this is what I'm worst at in
Sitting
this
in there with her neck all
game.
exposed.
Okay.
I'll cut through your words.
Yeah, her head was all the way down on the marker stone, I assume is what he's going to say?
Wait just a minute. Tenko wasn't sitting down
Yeah,
inside the cage.
okay. That's why I chose the body one, because it said specifically that she was crouched over, but I guess the marker stone works too.
She was bent over with her forehead against the marker stone.
Yeah, it's like a 3-4 foot like length of how far you'd have to go to get to her neck.
And the cage itself was about 3 feet tall.
Okay, so like 2.5 feet. That doesn't look 3 feet tall. That looks like 2 feet tall.
The sickle's blade was too short
Or
to reach Tenko
maybe even higher.
while she was in that position.
Then I messed up again? How could this happen? I am so embarrassed.
Like I said, Mew, you're not good at this.
No worries, Mew. Everyone already knows you're an embarrassment to the human race.
I'm actually with Kokichi on this one.
Yeah, no worries.
Good, so you didn't have to agree.
How embarrassing!
If Shuichi is right, then it's impossible for Tenko to have been killed through the cage.
She couldn't have been killed during the seance since she was in the cage, right?
Not necessarily.
If she was killed then, the cloth over the cage would have been pierced.
Not during the seance or from below the floor.
It had to have been
impossible,
from
isn't
below
it?
the floor.
Yeah, for a living person.
Huh?
What if Angie's spirit killed Tenko?
Kokichi, that makes even less sense than anything else you've suggested this entire trial. And you've suggested a lot of stupid shit.
What are you talking about? That's not possible.
Thank you.
We don't know that. Some things are impossible for a human, but not for a spirit.
Don't say stupid stuff like that. Screw spirits.
Stop that now.
I think he's trying to get under Kaito's skin to see if he's the murderer.
Angie's spirit killed Tenko? Why?
Himiko?
Why would Angie's spirit kill Tenko?
What if Tenko killed Angie, and then Angie's spirit came back for revenge?
Like I said, that's impossible. Spirits can't be culprits.
Then explain how the culprit killed Tenko under these impossible circumstances.
Well,
See? You can't explain, can you? Only a spirit could have done that!
wait, I know. What if the culprit was hiding inside the cage?
What?
If they were in there, they could have stabbed Tenko during the seance.
No, if there was someone else in the cage, we would have
I agree with
noticed.
Kaito. The culprit could have been inside the cage.
What? You do?
Nonsense. There was no space in the cage for the culprit to hide.
Maybe the culprit wouldn't need to hide in the first place.
What?
Also, the culprit could have killed her in the cage at any time. I think you know what I'm getting at, right?
Okay, so Maki is also suggesting suicide. I was thinking that earlier. The they she's referring to. Where is she?
I believe Maki is referring to Tenko herself.
What did you say? Are you saying Tenko is the culprit?
She committed suicide.
Suicide?
If she committed suicide, it would explain a lot of things we couldn't figure out. She volunteered to be in the cage, and then stabbed herself during the seance.
Where was she hiding the weapon though?
It wouldn't matter how dark the room was.
But the sickle she was stabbed with was under the floor, right? If Tenko had stabbed herself, wouldn't the sickle still be inside the cage?
That's why the floorboard was removed.
Oh my god. Mew actually said something smart.
Perhaps that explains why the floorboard was removed.
Yeah.
After stabbing herself with the sickle, she threw it underneath the floor.
But it was so far away from her body, I don't think that's true.
So she took off the floorboard to get rid of the sickle?
Yes, that makes sense to Gonta.
Well, it doesn't make sense to me. There's no reason for Tenko to commit suicide.
Maybe I wasn't too far off with the theory I had earlier. You know, about Tenko killing Angie.
Yeah?
You're saying the seance worked, and when Angie possessed Tenko, or Tenko killed herself so that she wouldn't have to admit.
Because Tenko and Angie were fighting for your attention, right?
Angie, when did you brainwash Himiko?
Tenko's pent-up frustration led her to commit such an atrocity. Her conscience couldn't handle it anymore, so she decided to end her own life.
What?
But if she was gonna kill herself, why do it during the seance?
She wanted to hide the truth of her suicide.
Really? Why?
There could only be one reason to hide it in a killing game, right? It's to take us down with her.
That was a theory. That was a possibility.
Take us down?
She wanted us to pick the wrong answer during the class trial. So she could bring us all down. She wanted us to die with her.
Now see, I don't know if Kokichi is lying here. This was a theory I was thinking of, but he could also be doing it to try to get Himiko to admit.
Okay, well, she probably just wanted Himiko to die with her, but still.
But what are you saying? Tenko wasn't like that. She told me.
Keep your chin up and live life facing forward. Survive with me and everyone else.
What if all of that was just a lie?
A lie?
Wait, we should believe Tenko's last words.
Those weren't technically Tenko's last words.
The true terror of class trials is that you shouldn't believe everything said.
It's true.
Himiko, you said that Tenko would never do anything like that. But how can you be so sure? Did you guys actually know each other? People keep all sorts of secrets. Like Maki. She hid the fact that she's a cold-blooded killer. Is it wise of us to trust other people wholeheartedly in this kind of situation?
Jeez, you're such a naive dude.
Naive?
We're all just people, you know? Of course we're gonna have some secrets. What matters is whether there's any malice behind them.
That's true.
People can lie about how malicious their hidden secrets really are.
Well, duh. It's impossible to know for sure what others are thinking. That's why it all comes down to whether or not you believe in yourself. If you get betrayed, it's not their fault. It's your fault for believing in them.
You just gotta believe.
That's why I believed in Maki Roll, because I wanted to believe in her.
She's going to murder you.
Just because you're acting all cool doesn't mean you get to skip training.
Hey, come on. Don't you think you're being a little too strict?
Well, we come from different backgrounds. So for now, let's agree to disagree. No one's ever called me naive before. And from Kaito? Seriously?
Wow, he's taking this personally. That's surprising for Kokichi. He usually brushes that sort of stuff off.
Whether or not I believe, my heart can't reach Tenko anymore. But I want to believe in her. She wouldn't commit suicide. She wouldn't try to take us down. That's what I want to believe.
Me too. Gonta no can believe Tenko commits suicide.
But if Tenko did commit suicide, that would answer all of our questions.
Yeah, it seems But that seems too simple.
If you insist we believe in Tenko, then provide a reason to do so.
A proper reason.
All right, I'll give you a reason.
Is there a reason?
Yes, there is. Will you trust me, Maki?
Oh god, Shuichi, are you gonna lie?
If it turns out I'm wrong, you can blame me all you like. But for now, I need you to trust in my detective work.
I don't believe Tenko would kill herself because of what she said. Okay, everybody. I'll see you guys after the seance. She said, see you guys after. I doubt she had a sudden change of heart. Just because we don't know how she was killed doesn't mean that it was suicide. We shouldn't be satisfied with that. And if we keep thinking, we'll find the truth. And that means we have to believe in Tenko. I'll make them believe. Alright.
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
So, died in a crouched position, injury in the back of the neck. Was deep, but probably not deep enough to kill her immediately.
Her plan was to take us down with her,
No.
so she hid her true intentions.
Tenko's not that kind of person! But if Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how she died during the seance.
She could have secretly brought the sickle and then stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the last of her strength, she threw the sickle underneath the floor. All the pieces fit.
Ooh, this one's a tough one. Everyone thinks that Tenko committed suicide. But only because they're latching onto the easiest answer. To get out of this, I need to make them think their suicide theory wouldn't work.
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her, so she hid her true intentions.
Tenko's not that kind of person! But if Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how she died during the seance.
She could have secretly brought the sickle and then stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the last of her strength, she threw the sickle underneath the floor. All the pieces fit.
Hole in the floor. Okay. What was the last? Oops.
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Does this have anything to do with? Okay, yeah, it does. The body was discovered in a vacant room on the 4th floor. Estimated time of death was 11 a.m. Stabbed in the back of the neck, resulting in death. No other injuries were detected. So that can't. I don't think any of these.
Her plan was to take us down with her, so she hid her true intentions.
Tenko's not that kind of person! But if Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how she died during the seance.
She could have secretly brought the sickle and then stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the last of her strength, she threw the sickle underneath the floor. All the pieces fit.
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her. So she hid her true intentions.
Tango's not that kind.
What was the last moment again?
Of person. But if Tenko did commit,
There's no correlation with this, is there? A hole that was in the corner of the room of the seance was held in. There's space under the floor so you can see what was dropped there. And it's not like I have the sickle. I'm gonna go with loose floorboard because it has dried blood on it.
suicide. It would explain how she died during the seance.
She could have secretly brought the sickle and then stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the
Last of her strength.
she threw the sickle underneath the floor. All the pieces fit.
This is my only guess so far. This is actually a very hard
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
logic
Her
to
plan
break.
was to take us down with her.
That's
she
obviously
hid
not
her
true,
true
but I don't have
intentions.
anything to prove that.
Tenko's not that kind of person. But if Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how she died during the seance.
She could have secretly brought the sickle and then stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the last of her strength.
No.
I was wrong!
No, her death wasn't instant, we know that.
So far, suicide
Suicide.
seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her. So she hid her true intentions.
Tenko's not that kind of person. But if Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how she died during the seance.
She could have
This is a
secretly brought the
struggle.
sickle
Brought
and
the
then
sickle.
stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the last of her strength, she threw the sickle underneath the floor. All the pieces fit.
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her. So she hid her true intentions.
Tenko's not that kind of person.
He brought the sickle.
No?
Oh no!
This is a very difficult
So far,
to
suicide seems to be
answer.
the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her. So she hid her true intentions.
Tenko's not that kind of person. But if Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how she died during the seance.
Oops.
She could have secretly brought the sickle and then stabbed herself with it.
There's only 3 pieces of
Finally,
evidence.
with the last of her strength, she threw the sickle underneath the floor. All the pieces fit.
I wonder. No.
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her. So she hid her true intentions.
Oh, wait.
Tenko's not that kind of person.
Wait.
But if Tenko did commit suicide, It would explain how she died during
okay.
the seance.
I thought you had to copy something to do a lie.
Brought the sickle
Huh.
and then stabbed herself with it.
So what was this?
Finally, with the last of her strength, she threw the sickle underneath the floor. All
Last
the
of her
pieces
strength.
fit.
Well, if we're lying about it, If we're lying about it, we could say maybe the Monokuma file? No, that doesn't talk about her death, really. Which one talks about her death? But probably not enough to kill her immediately. But let me check the Monokuma file. The victim was stabbed in the back of the neck, resulting in death. See, that one that doesn't tell me when she was, like, how she died, really. It just says she was stabbed. I think it might actually be this, or was it this one? Probably not enough to kill her immediately.
Suicide seems to be the best explanation.
So that's that
Her
one.
plan
Okay.
was to take us down with her. So she hid her true intentions.
Yeah, I think this will actually work.
Tango's not that kind of person.
Man, how have I gotten this
Tango
far?
did
Not,
commit suicide.
well, I may have actually known how
It would
lying worked
explain how she
before. I
died during
just
the
forgot.
seance.
That's highly likely.
She could have secretly brought the sickle.
Because that was,
then stabbed
that was
herself with it.
how, well, kind of how it worked in
Finally,
previous
with
games.
the last of her strength, she threw the sickle
Son of-
underneath the floor.
All the pieces.
Of course I would miss. Of course I would miss.
Her plan was to take us down with her. So she hid her true intentions. But Tango did commit suicide. It would explain how she died during the seance. She could have secretly brought the sickle.
And then stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the last
of her strength.
Okay, so I had to lie. I had the right idea, but I had to lie with. Okay.